Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dripp Strick podcast, and thank you guys so much for watching episode 31. This is big. We got a recap episode, as y'all know. I'm Austin, and this is my boy Jacob.
What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all so much for the continued support. 31 episodes, baby. So let's get into it. We got a nice recap video for y'all here. Starting off with Ohio State and Notre Dame, number 6 versus number 9. This is at Notre Dame and Ohio State. A lot of people have been doubting them, the whole season so far, and they came in here and they won. They played, a pretty good football game all around. So the final score was 17-14. Kyle McCord, 240 passing yards. He had himself a pretty good game. Didn't have any passing touchdowns. Didn't have any touchdowns himself, but did enough to make help his team win. Sam Hartman, 175 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. Not his best game that he's had, but no, both these teams played really good. It was really more of a defensive battle. So shout out Ohio State for winning this game.
Yeah, this was good. And Ohio State came in there and they won in a close game. It was pretty much how I predicted Ohio State to win, just keeping it close and winning. I didn't expect it to be this low scoring though at all. This really caught me off guard with Sam Hartman and Notre Dame being such a high velocity offense. It's just really impressive to me that both defenses did what they did on Saturday. If you're definitely an offensive minded like college football watcher, you probably didn't like this game at all. You probably turned it off or just got bored of it. But TreVeyon Henderson played a heck of a game when they needed him most. As Kyle McCord, this is his first big game as a starter, and he didn't look too great, but he's getting better. Week by week, he's getting better now that he's named the official starter. He's just going to get better each and every week. But yeah, shout out to Ohio State Buckeyes and shout out to Ryan Day for this really big win.
Next up, we got Florida State at Clemson. Final score was 31-24, and it actually went to overtime. I thought this game was going to be I didn't think this game was really going to be close based on how Clemson has played so far this year. They lose to Duke. They struggle with
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern. They struggled with week 2 that they struggled with.
Oh, I don't even know.
They struggled with some no-name school week 2, but they competed really well with the number 4 team in the country, Florida State. Travis Hunter did his thing, obviously, 289 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Cade Klubnik didn't have a bad game, 283 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. But just a really good game by Florida State. And, honestly, if I'm a Clemson fan, I'm not feeling, too bad about this. You competed with the number 4 team in the country after having a really rough start to the season. So really now you just got to try to bounce back, see if you can sneak into, the ACC championship maybe. Most likely not, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, this is a game that I said it was going to be really close, and it was. I mean, going into overtime is kind of how I not really didn't see going to overtime, but I saw it being a very close game just because, like we said, Clemson's one of the, like I said last week, talent-wise, they're one of the best teams in the country, and they just got to put it all together. Cade Klubnik did not have a great game. He figured it out a little bit, but Garrett Riley and them, they're going to have to figure something out because right now doing what they're doing is not very good. Cade Klubnik had some key plays that he didn't look great on, had a really bad fumble. And, Clemson's defense kept them in the game. But Florida State, man, Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman they're some of the best wide receivers in the game. They were so clutch in that fourth quarter and overtime and just making Jordan Travis's job a lot easier. But, this was a great game to watch. And, if you're a Clemson fan, like you said, man, I agree with you. You can't feel too bad after this win. After this loss. But Dabo and Garrett Riley, they got to figure the coaching staff out. And they got to win some games because they can beat anybody. Clemson's a team there. They literally can show up and beat anybody because they have the talent to do it. But are they going to be coached and well-oiled machined enough to win it? And obviously they weren't on Saturday. So.
Yeah, it feels like Cade Klubnik has taken a step back since last year. Last year he came in later in the season after DJ Uiagalelei. After he struggled earlier in the season, he came in. He showed tons of promise. Even showed promise in the Orange Bowl when they got destroyed and dismantled by Tennessee. He showed promise. He looked like he was the only player on the field that looked like he wanted to play football.
Yeah.
But it just feels like so far this year he's just not lived up to those promises. And so, hopefully he has a better season. Next game we're talking about is Colorado at Oregon. This game was very hyped up, and it was not. I don't think really anyone expected this. It was 42-6 Oregon. I mean, Oregon just dismantled Colorado. And, the thing about Colorado is they're too Hollywood, I feel like now. Beginning of the season, play TCU, everyone in the country is like, TCU got this. Colorado, they're not going to have a super great year this year. They're going to struggle. Deion's first year coaching in the FBS level. And they won. They surprised everyone. Week 2, they played Nebraska, and then they won that game after people said that they were gonna lose. And so they just get too Hollywood. They try to make everything personal for no reason. But, I mean, before this game, they went and stomped on the Oregon on the halfway on the 50-yard line. So I used to like Colorado. I used to be rooting for Colorado, but it's just they're getting a little, too Hollywood, too annoying for me. So, I'm glad that they got this little reality check, especially before they play a big team like USC next week. So this is a great win for Oregon, especially for Bo Nix. 3 passing touchdowns. He looks so good right now playing for Oregon. He's really found his place.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, coming in week 1, the first episode of, I guess, this season of the Dripp Strick podcast, you predicted TCU to beat Colorado. No, you predicted Colorado to beat TCU. I predicted TCU. I said TCU's a runner-up. They're going to beat Colorado. And I was wrong. You were right. Colorado beat TCU in a phenomenal game, close game. And it was just so fun to watch. And from then on, I completely bought in. Like, I've been locked in, and I still am. Like, I am, dude, it's just like every interview that I see of Coach Prime, when they're asking him questions, I'm tuned in. I'm watching it on YouTube. I'm locked in on my phone, see it on Twitter. I'm looking at everything. Coach Prime is just, I love Coach Prime. I love Colorado and what they're doing right now. And this game, man, Dan Lanning was not playing around. They ran up the score. I mean, even in the fourth quarter, it was like 4th and goal. They could easily kick a field goal, and then they went for it. I don't even think they got it on 4th and goal, but they still went for it in the fourth quarter of, I think it was 42-0 at that time. So, yeah, it was crazy to watch. And, yeah, Colorado, they definitely got humbled a lot this game. But, this is Coach Prime's first year. They were, picked to win 2.5 or 3.5 games, and they've already went 3-0. So, now 3-1. But, I mean, Colorado, like Deion said at the end of the game, this is the worst he's going to be. This is year 1 for, a 1-11 team last year. This is the worst he's going to be. He's still got a lot of people coming. There's recruits every single weekend in Boulder, Colorado. This is the worst he's going to be, plain and simple. And, yeah, but Oregon, big win for Oregon. And Bo Nix, man, the Heisman's looking good for Bo Nix, just saying.
Next game we're talking about is Arkansas at LSU. Now, this game was actually really close. Came down to the wire. It was LSU win, 34-31. And I was completely wrong about this game. I knew LSU was going to win. That's what I predicted. I did not think it was going to be this close. KJ Jefferson, other than the 2 interceptions he threw, had a great game. 289 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns, with also 48 rushing yards for him. Jaden Daniels had another phenomenal game. 4 passing touchdowns and 320 passing yards. Malik Neighbors with 130 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. He's really came out of his shell. He started off slow earlier this season. Then he played your Bulldogs, finally came out of his shell. So just, another good win for LSU. Would like to see their defense, play better because, Arkansas just doesn't have, a top-tier offense. They got KJ Jefferson, and that's really it for right now. But just, a good hard-fought victory for LSU.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I said on the podcast last week, and I said right before the game, LSU's about to blow them out. Right before the game, they were interviewing, I think Holly Rowe was interviewing Brian Kelly and asked him, and Brian Kelly was making that excuse. Yeah, it's an SEC game, so it's going to be tough. Every SEC game's tough. And I was like, bro, that's just so full of it. They say, they can play Vandy. Nick Saban can play Vandy, be it's an SEC game, anything can happen. I was like, LSU's about to blow Arkansas out. And I was dead wrong. I was completely wrong about this game. Yeah, KJ Jefferson came out. He balled out in Tiger Stadium. And it was a night game. I did not see that coming. Jaden Daniels, he came to play, though. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And, yeah, but KJ Jefferson and the Razorbacks, they looked really, really good. And shout out to Arkansas for sticking with them. But, ultimately, shout out to the Tigers for getting the win.
Next game we're talking about is Ole Miss at Alabama. Now, I was dead wrong about this game in every form and fashion. Final score was 24-10. Last week in our prediction video, I predicted that Ole Miss was going to win this game, and they lost on the road at Alabama. Jalen Milroe, didn't play super good, but played good enough to get his team the win. And, honestly, out of the three quarterbacks that have played for Alabama so far, it's pretty clear that he's the guy. No one else can really. Tyler Bugner played horrible against USF. Ty Simpson didn't play good against USF. I think he's just too young. So Jalen Milroe, definitely the guy for Alabama from here on out. But Jace McClellan, 105 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Ole Miss didn't look super great. Quinton Judkins hasn't really lived up to the hype from his freshman year, really since his freshman year, at all. So, Ole Miss, they'll figure it out at some point. But Alabama, you finally have your quarterback. Jalen Milroe is your guy.
Yeah. I guess a win for Alabama. Jalen Milroe, he came out in Bryant-Denny, got a lot of pressure there, and he won the game. And, an SEC matchup, so, yeah, good win for Alabama.
Next game we're talking about is a game that really no one had on their radar, at all. It's a Pac-12 battle between Oregon State and Washington State. And really everyone kind of overlooked this game because Ohio State Notre Dame was playing. And I think there was a couple other big games going on at the same time. So really everyone just kind of overlooked it. But this was a big game for the Pac-12. And it was a really good game, really fun game to watch. Washington State won this game 38-35. And I really wanted to talk about this because of Cameron Ward, the quarterback from Washington State, had a monster game, 404 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns. He's had a really solid season so far. I've been, kind of loosely keeping up with him, but he's having a really good season so far. Washington State's 4-0 right now, so watch out for them in the Pac-12.
Yeah, Cam Ward is a beast. I think he's 5th or 6th in passing yards right now in the nation. He just played phenomenal. It was a great shootout with him. But, the Washington State, they don't have a whole lot of talent on that team. And for just him to be the really star of the show and being so efficient at home was really, really good. And, like you said, buy Washington State stock right now this season because they're good. They're already starting 4-0, which is phenomenal for them. I think their coach is in year 2, one or two. So shout out to Washington State and a lot of big things coming, it seems like.
Next game we're talking about is Auburn at Texas A&M. This game didn't go how the way that I wanted it to. We played all 3 of our quarterbacks, and all 3 of them struggled. Peyton Thorne, 6 of 12, 44 passing yards, and I think he might have had a fumble. Yeah, he had a fumble. Just all 3 of them are just so inconsistent. They're just so inconsistent. None of them can really take charge in the game. But my opinion on the quarterback battle for Auburn, I think it should be Robbie Ashford. At least when there's pressure on him, he can escape. He can make a play with his legs if needed. He might not be the best passer on the team, but no one's a good passer on the team really. But he's not the best. So honestly, it really should be Robbie Ashford from here on out. Peyton Thorne just looks so confused. He looks so lost. He looks like he doesn't know what he's doing out there. And Olin Gurnier, he just has zero experience playing. But Max Johnson, Connor Wayman got hurt in the game, and Max Johnson came in. He used to play at LSU, but he came in and he was going crazy. He started 5 for 5 and I think a touchdown pass. But he ended 7 for 11, 123 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Really good game for him, and this is a solid win for Texas A&M after losing to Miami the previous week. And Auburn, we got to play Georgia next week, and then we play. It's going to be a rough 4-week stretch from here on out.
Yeah, I was also wrong about this. I had Auburn winning. I don't know why I was just feeling it. Hugh Freeze, I love that he wins games. I don't want to say I love Hugh Freeze, but he's a proven winner. He's won a lot of games, and but yeah, he didn't win this one. Texas A&M really came to play. I was really surprised that Max Johnson, after really struggling last year at A&M, he really, really struggled. But yeah, coming out this year, obviously, the fighting Texas Aggies got that win at home, and shout out them and shout out Jimbo Fisher.
Next game is Mississippi State at South Carolina. Final score was 37-30 South Carolina. Solid win for South Carolina after losing to Georgia the previous week. Spencer Rattler had 288 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. So that's pretty good for him. But I'm going to let you do most of the talking since it's your team.
Yeah, just I don't know really what to say. This one really hurts. Like the past 3 days, I've been hurting really bad. It's been a tough, and it was such a tough loss. So, I've come into every game feeling like we should win the game. No, I don't care who we play. And we just didn't play up to our standard. Our defense didn't play. I mean, back to back weeks we've made both of the quarterbacks that we played look like Heisman. Spencer Rattler, he played insane. And I don't want to just talk about us. I want to talk about also how good South Carolina was during this game. Spencer Rattler came to play. He did phenomenal. He really did phenomenal, and he was just super efficient. I think he started the game 18 for 18. Like, we literally just could not stop him. Like Jaden Daniels last week, we could not stop Jaden Daniels. And great win for South Carolina. They got stops when they needed to, and this one really hurt. This one really hurt. So yeah.
And I believe that is all we have for this recap episode. Thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.